How you doing, YouTube? Matt, Massive Beer Reviews, back with yet another review, but not just any other review. Fucking mystery beers, baby. Love me some mystery beers. Love doing them, love drinking them, love talking about them. This one comes courtesy of Steven. Thank you very much, dude. Or Stefan. Might be saying that wrong. I don't know. Anyway, he sent me off a bunch of beers from up Connecticut Way. Half were unwrapped, half were wrapped. This is the second one I am doing out of that batch, so kind of excited to dive into it. Thank you very much, brother. What are mystery beers? I'll explain it while I dive into this sucker. Mystery beers are beers that are sent to me. I've been sent beers before. I'm trying to peel this down so it doesn't actually get caught while I'm pouring it. I'm trying to take a look at the beer. Can't see anything. Thank you very much. They're beers sent to me by viewers, fans, whatever you want to call them. And they are beers that are shrouded. As you can see, I have no idea what this beer is. I'm going to pour it. I'm going to drink it. And then I'm going to talk about it. So yeah, that's the best part about it. I can't do these without viewers. So if you actually dig these, you're more than welcome to send me some mystery beers. Reach out to me, massivebeers@gmail.com. But what do we have here? First off, Piggy Finger, infinite creamy, infinitely white, infinitely pillowy, deliciously. Let's take 18 naps on top of that shit. Kind of richness, and she definitely has that part of that haze going on. A little bit darker than what you'd expect from the typical kind of New England style hazy IPA. A little bit more orange and then milky on the edges, but it has a little milky cataracty thing going on the edges, but a little bit darker in the core. So she looks like a hazy New England style double single IPA. Let's see what the nose has. As I move my glasses, that makes me help me smell better, by the way. There's like a jammy character to it. Like, no, not jammy, like marmalade-y. I hate that word when it comes to beer descriptors, but it's there. It's like a candied, syruped version of a fruitiness, like apricots. So it's an apricotted kind of marmalade-y kind of vibe to it. Now, what does that mean? I think that means it's a higher ABV, a richer kind of double IPA that's giving you those kind of big residual sugars to make you think it's a little bit sweeter, but you're also getting that kind of rich, kind of over-fermented kind of stone fruitiness that you get from a lot of these kind of, well, I should say a lot of these kind of beers. It's not a lot of those kind of beers. It's this beer in particular. Yeah, there's a nice green bitterness throughout the whole beer too. Definitely on the weed spectrum. Definitely on the weed, smoke and weed spectrum. It's not super danky weed. It's more like MIDI level stuff. But you're getting that along with a little bit of weed pollen, a little bit of kind of green grass. And it's like, a big field that hasn't been mowed for a while. But it's definitely underneath that kind of candied, syrupy, kind of marmalade version of that apricot thing. A little bit of citrus. All ends of the spectrum. You're getting your tropical fruits, you're getting your fucking citrus, you're getting your stone fruits, but you have that apricot thing kind of leading the way for me. Yeah. Gotta dive in. See what she's got. Cheers. Okay. You get this big, rich punch of that apricot up front. Then it washes away with this kind of fizzling, kind of, I don't want to say thinness, but this like kind of like Pop Rocks almost. Not Pop Rocks. What's that candy I'm trying to think of? It's kind of like cotton candy, but it kind of dissolves in your mouth a little bit more kind of explosively, kind of effervescently. It's giving you that kind of vibe. So you're getting that big rush of that kind of apricot thing with the little citrus and tropical fruit on the edges. And then when you taste it, it's just like, it just goes, whoo, and then you just get left with this kind of wash of coolness and beerness, because that's a word, on the back end. It's way big up front. Apricots all day. A soft fizziness kind of releasing, and then you're just kind of like have this empty kind of feeling, but there's this kind of vapor of that hops kind of vapor from what was in the beer. It's kind of cool. I dig it. I like the way the beer's playing. That soft bitterness, that greeny thing, that middy weed thing I was talking about, it's more nose based. You're not getting as much as on the taste, even though there's kind of a bit of kind of hints of that. It's definitely one of those kind of drop out all bitterness kind of jams. Steven sent me 3 mystery beers, 3 unwrapped beers, and by that I mean non-mystery beers. The 3 he sent me that were not shrouded were Treehouse. The first one I pulled off and drank mystery beer wise. I'll post that one before this, so it's not much of a spoiler alert. But spoiler alert, if you want to mute for the next 10 seconds, that beer was actually a Treehouse beer. This is not a Treehouse beer. This is not a Treehouse beer. If it is, I'll be surprised. So what are we talking here? We're talking, it's not a double IPA. I'm guessing it's probably in the low to mid 6s. Somebody's version of trying to be a Treehouse beer, but I think their version is a fun variant of what they're trying to do. They're trying to do the hazy New England's thing. They're not hitting it. They're not landing it exactly what Treehouse does, but I think that's a good thing. I like the way the apricot plays. I like that kind of fizzy, kind of fizzling off flavor thing. It's not super impactful. It's not like you're getting a 2x4 to the face of just hops and crazy sweetness, but I think that's a good thing. I think there's a little bit more here yeast-wise, too. You're talking about pretty much, for a lot of these kind of hazy New England-style IPAs, I don't touch on yeast all that much. When I talk about Belgian beers, or I talk about, Saison, I'll kind of dive into it, because honestly, 99% of these breweries are using either London 3 or Conan or some variant of those, so there's really not much to talk about. This one seems like it has a little bit more going on yeast-wise than just that base London 3 kind of Conan thing. I think the way that beer falls off and that fizziness is a little bit more kind of yeast-driven, a little bit dry, not in that kind of Brut area, not even to like a Brux kind of area. There's a little bit more to it. I dig it. I like it. I think it's fun. I think it's chuggable. If this comes in under 5%, because it could get that low, it could be like a 5.5% alcohol beer. If this is sub 5%, I want to drink this all fucking summer, all fucking winter, and every other season. I think it's tasty. I think it's fun. I think it's exciting, and I like it. So I'm talking about a lower ABV IPA, and I'll even go pale ale. I'm starting to retract my ABVs here. Let's go 5 to 6%. Aggressively hot, but not crazy so. Might be a little bit of yeast finagling. Done and done. That's all I have. Let's see what she has. Okay. Oh. I know what this is already. It is Thomas Tucker. Yeah. I've reviewed this beer. This is really fucking cool. You set it off, Steve, because I've reviewed this before. I dig this beer. This is one of my favorite shelfies of last year. It's one of the beers that I thought was, pick it up off a shelf, and it's going to give you what you want in that kind of hazy category. And I think my kind of mystery beer thing rang true. You're talking about, let's see, ABV-wise, what is it? I know it's not that huge. I don't remember the ABV on this thing, and I don't know if it's 7%. Okay, so I was wrong on that account. Here it actually says, character, tropical fruit, juicy aroma, abundant quantities of mosaic and citra hops make this unfiltered IPA explode with tropical fruit juice aroma, and heavy on the aromatics, but light on the bitterness. This brew is true New England IPA. So yeah, like I said, this is one of the better kind of like shelf beers that I've seen over the years, and I think my mystery beer kind of proves that. In that I thought it was kind of like it wasn't a treehouse beer, but it was somebody trying to do that. Check. They were trying to do it with a little bit different kind of format. Is that the right way to put it? But it's still a damn tasty beer. I like this beer. I haven't had it probably relatively close to when I actually reviewed it as one of my favorite shelfies. So, like I said, this is one of the more favorite kind of things that happen mystery beer wise. When somebody sends me a beer that I've already reviewed and I have to do it mystery beer wise, it tickles me fucking pink because it kind of levels the playing field. It takes all that fucking pretense out of the beer and just makes you kind of judge it on itself. And I think this beer or this review of this beer mystery wise, while different, isn't that far off from the one I actually produced. Listen, it's going to be hard to really kind of viscerally kind of pick on notes when you're doing a mystery beer thing. I've learned that over the 100 or so mystery beers that I've done, in that you're so dialed into trying to analyze what you're tasting and what you're smelling and whatnot that you're not as reactive with the flavors. You're like, okay, wait, I'm tasting this, I'm tasting that. So you're not going to be as like, oh yeah, this is that. You go into it a little bit more kind of guarded kind of mentality. But I think that's a good thing. And I think you can actually echo a review that's quite a bit different, but be in the same ballpark. And yeah. Pretty happy with that, to be perfectly honest with you. So there you go. Let's talk about it. Is this one of the better IPAs I've had as of late? It's worthy of being in the conversation. Is it one of the better accessible shelfie beers of all time? It's up there. It's a wrench. It's some of the beers that Carton produces. It's one of the better. I can get this off a shelf and love the shit out of it. And by shelf, I mean hopefully in a cooler. One of the beers out there. So, yeah. It's on the Mount Rushmore shelfies. Let's put it that way. Value and availability. It was always like $12 a 4-pack, $13 a 4-pack for me. That doesn't suck. I'll leave you with, if you like what, will you like this? If you like good beer at honest pricing, that's it. It's tasty. It's delicious. It does what it wants to do. It doesn't give you the overt, crazy, over-the-top Haze-Bro, hop thotty, fucking 2x4 to the face of hops. But it gives you enough to be like, this is a really well-made, honest, true, delicious, well-made beer. And that does not suck. Yeah. There you go. Another review in the books. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Down there if you want to talk about it. Massive Beers if you want to check me out doing the whole social media stuff. Beer Massive if you want to check me out doing the whole podcasting stuff. And hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Hopefully enjoying a nice no filter right now. And we'll see you next time, brother. Cheers.